but those are features. So let me get to the main event, which is Conway on his own album.
Hold on. But what did you think of the album?
I'm getting to that. It hurts me to say that I was right on the last show when I had my concerns about. I don't know if you remember me talking about it, but I was saying I was concerned if that would move the needle any, because Benny's album was supposed to wave the Griselda flag and take them to places that they hadn't been yet. And to some degree, I don't think it accomplished that, but I think it fell short because of the expectations he set for it, right? But when Conway comes with his project, I felt like he had to build up on that. And I feel like what we got was just another, and I'm no disrespect, but I feel like we just got another run-of-the-mill Griselda album. I don't think it advanced the Griselda brand anymore. It's got some dope joints on there. Conway is spitting per usual, but it's your run-of-the-mill Griselda album. And that's how I feel about it. It didn't progress them any in the space.
You finished?
Yeah.
This album is really dope, and I don't know what all of y'all are hearing. I think maybe you might be tired of hearing it, so maybe you've become numb to it. Maybe you've become immune to it. But this is a really dope project.
It's got some dope joints.
The beat selection on here is excellent.
I liked a lot of the production.
Beat selection on here is excellent. But what we have with this is like a masterclass session type of day, because this album makes me love rap and love certain artists. So I'm going to tell you something about what I really think about this project. I love Conway and what Conway does, because Conway's a master of his craft.
Absolutely.
And what really impresses me about this album, is the fact that he's finding new pockets to flow in, but keeping his delivery. Like this album is a bar seminar of sorts. Like he's doing his classic Conway flow, but his timing on these beats, his delivery, it's immaculate. AG.
So as
an MC, he's rounded himself into a special space, and not a lot of rappers get to say this. It doesn't matter what beat you put him on. Like he can find a way to ride it, and he can find a rhythm and a time in it. And this is what I like about him. When he gets tracks that are not quote unquote classic East Coast Mobb Deep Wu-Tang-ish type beats, when he doesn't get those beats, first he used to rap on top of those beats, and because he was a dope MC, it still worked. But now he's finding pockets of flows with his timing that he's not having to rap on top of these beats that aren't East Coast boom bap beats. He can weave in between them now. That's a mark of his improvement as an MC. Go ahead, because I can see you want to say
him. So you're saying him as an MC specifically, you see the growth on this album.
I see the, it's like that analogy that I always make when I talk about how a quarterback, reaches that point where the game like really, really slows down for them, and like it's different. It's like that point, like like Tom Brady used to get hit a lot more earlier in his career than he did later, and then he reached the point where like he mastered it, and because he knew how well everybody worked, he knew right when to slide to avoid that sack because he had mastered it. You know what I'm saying? Like Peyton at the line of scrimmage. You know what I'm saying? Mahomes in the fourth quarter of a big game. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's when the guy develops that mastery for what they do well. And he's developed a mastery of what he does well. And what impressed me about the album also too is that for all these features, it actually sounded like a Griselda-ish album though. What I was worried about was him losing direction. And so do I think the album is great? No, but I do think it's a really good project. Like you don't like Milano Nights Part 1?
Yeah, no, I like that song. But I think
that's glorious. Like that's some shit Big would rap on. Like what is niggas hearing?
right, but I think that you can compartmentalize the artist from the art, right? The project itself. Like Conway can be getting better as an MC, but the project still not come together how it's supposed to. So I'm gonna ask you this, Coop. At the risk of sounding redundant because he has put out so many projects, how does this project differ from all his other previous ones? Did he move the bar in the positive direction any with this, other than what you speak to with his skill set? Like overall, how the album sounds, did it move the needle any? Not just
No.
for him, but for Griselda as a whole.
No, it did neither one of those things. This is more of the vein. This is a comfort zone album. But
right. And I like it when an artist never gives you the same album twice. That's what I gravitate towards.
It's a high level comfort zone album though. Like Milano Nights, the Ken Express with Larry June. Larry's like, okay, so here's what I'm saying. It's like
it's about a 4 or 5 track run on the album that's really tough.
Yeah, it is. Muddy with Stove.
Yeah, it starts at Muddy and then goes like the next, 4 or 5 joints is pretty tough. Yeah.
Correct. So I don't know like how you are about your hip hop, but I don't go to everybody expecting the world usually. I go expecting people to operate on the level that they operate on. And if they give me something better than that, then it deserves higher praise. So I think like the Larry June album, Ken Express, is an example of that to me. It's like, no, I'm not expecting Larry June to be like Kendrick on the mic lyrically, but he's my go-to West Coast artist right now. Like he's the dude that I feel. When I want some East Coast shit, like Conway's one of my go-to guys from this era. And so he's giving you that. And has he tread that ground before plenty of times? It's like, well, yes, he has. But he's also still making very, very high quality records. Muddy is a great record. Milano Nights Part 1 is a great record. Ken Express is a great record. The Vertino with Joey Badass, that's great. Now I do have some nitpicks about the album. These songs are too damn long.
I mean, it's a throwback to the earlier era. Shout out to the homie Aaron Myers.
I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn what era it's a throwback to. Yeah. Throw away the last minute of some of these songs. How about that?
But let me say this. He is rapping at a high level and the quality is there. But I think my problem comes in at the quantity because they release so many projects, right?
Yeah, we've heard so many great songs from him. But I was impressed with his beat selection. Like what's his best album? From a King to a God?
I would say yes. Yeah.
So there aren't any Juvenile Hell or Jesus Crisis on here. You know what I'm saying? There's not a Griselda record. There's not a Westside Benny Conway record on here. The songs are too long at points. And so it's not, I'm not saying it's a perfect album. I'm just saying it's like, is it just like a throwaway album or like a weed plate? It's like, no, this is a quality project from one of the upper echelon MCs in the game and one of the top 5 MCs in the last 5 years, in my opinion.
Yeah, it may be I'm not judging it fair, but I'm looking at it from because you asked me what my expectations are, and no, I wasn't expecting the world out of it, but it's like when you go to a restaurant and if it's a Michelin star joint, if it you eat a nice steak, whatever, and then if you go there every day of the week over 2 weeks straight, it might taste exactly the same as when you first ate the steak. But it's not going to hit you the same. You're going to be like, the steak is all right, but I'm kind of tired of the steak right now because I've had it every day for 2 weeks straight. And I think with the quantity of music that they putting out, I think they've gotten to that point where it's like an oversaturation, where it's not a vast difference in what they're putting out. So it's like you're getting the same thing over and over and over again. And that dilutes the quality of it, even if it's on par with stuff that came before it. Is because you're desensitized to it, right?
Yeah, I mean, that happens. Like that happens on both ends of the pendulum, though. Like, think about A Tribe Called Quest. It's like, well, nothing changed about how they put together their projects when the Love Movement came out. But they had covered so much territory with People's Instinctive and the Low End Theory and Midnight Marauders and even Beats, Rhymes, and Life, that when you got a formula and you don't update the formula, that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, no, it's not the updating of any formula. It's some really quality guest features. Stove showed out, Meth showed out, Joey Badass had a great verse.
Absolutely, but to your point, on its own merit, it's a good album.
Yeah, on its own merit.
Yeah.
Like if a New York nigga just came out with this album today and his name wasn't Conway, we'd be like, man, this is a dope ass project.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. No, you're right in that regard, because on its own merit, it's a dope album. But I just can't help but to think about everything that came before it and question, where do you go from here when I listen to that.
So I'm gonna say this is that, like, I want you to tell me what Conway's 3 best albums are in your opinion. Like, rank Conway's 3 best albums in order for you.
From a King to a God would be one. La Makina, and probably maybe God Don't Make Mistakes. I think he had more range on that album than this album.
Okay. So La Makina and God Don't Make Mistakes has more range than this album.
Yes.
And I could agree with you. I might put Won't He Do It over God Don't Make Mistakes, but
I mean, Won't He Do It is good. I would put Won't He Do It over this album.
Those are the 4 best albums, right?
Out of how many? We got to frame it properly.
I mean, he's got the Black Tape. Hold on. He's got the Black Tape. He's got Look What I Became. He's got Everybody Is Food 1, 2, and 3. He's got Lulu with Alchemist.
And let's be real. A lot of these are real short. Projects. So.
Yeah. Like Lulu's a 5-piece.
Right.
Yeah, Lulu was a 5-piece.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that this album isn't as versatile as those albums. What has that gotten him exactly? What is all this versatility? Like, I know that we know that he's versatile now. What has it gotten him? And also, too, what would you call, what's the record? The 10/Riot interlude, which I think should have been split up and just been 2 separate songs anyway. Mm-hmm. I don't know why those songs are pieced together like that. That's an executive production error, and like, in my opinion, because it's like, why would you have a 6-minute song in these days and times when both of the songs is about 3 minutes long, and both of the songs actually slide, but they slide in a similar way? So why wouldn't you take those songs and split them up and break them up and give this album some more shakeup? Like, that's just for me. So that was an executive production mistake, in my opinion, to like take 10 and Raya and put them together, like literally like mash them into one song, and then also like put them like together. Like, you should have taken those songs and separated those songs and put them out through the course of the album. I think it had more of effect. Like, you could have like tossed the 10 in between Milano Lights and Ken Express, and then kept Raya for a bonus track, or kept it towards the further back end of the album, in my opinion. So there are missteps on here. I'm not saying that there's not missteps, but I'm saying the bar seminars, they're still high level. The guest appearances are dope. The production is good. It does tail off at the end some, but overall solid project.
How much staying power do you think it'll have with you?
AAG, I don't know how much staying power a lot of these fucking albums have these days, if you really want to know the truth.